to a tweet that I have from Mairang Baloch, who is a human rights activist and has often spoken about extrajudicial killings as well as unforced disappearances that are carried out by the Pakistani military, often within Balochistan. And she has, released this statement saying that the enforced disappearance of Baloch women marks an escalation of state violence in Balochistan. It must be understood through the lenses of necropolitics, identity-based marginalization and colonial forms of governance. Now, for decades, the Baloch have been treated by the state as a suspect population. They are governed not through inclusion, citizenship or consent, but through coercion and exclusion. Enforced disappearances, long used against Baloch men, has now expanded into a gendered strategy as it targets women and girls, including students, minors, pregnant women and persons with disability, many of whom have no political affiliation whatsoever. And this shift is not accidental. It reflects a form of necropolitical power in which the state asserts sovereignty by deciding whose lives are protected, whose are rendered killable and whose can be erased into legal and social non-existence. Within this framework, Baloch identity has itself been criminalized. Violence is not directed at individual actions but at a population defined as politically unreliable and structurally marginal. The disappearance of women therefore operates as a form of collective punishment, transforming identity into a site of governance and fear. Yet this violence has not produced the political submission it seeks. Instead, it has exposed the limits of coercive rule. She has also said that from an analytical perspective, the disappearance of Baloch women can be understood as an attempt to dismantle the social foundations of resistance by attacking those who sustain memory, care as well as political continuity. She has also said that she has in fact released this magazine which talks about these enforced disappearances within Balochistan. Additionally, now BLA fighters struck 12 cities as part of Operation Herof-II. A viral video shows a huge black smoke billowing out from an army vehicle, while a large number of damaged vehicles were also seen. The exact location of the incident is not known. There are no reports of any casualties. BLA said it held positions for over 35 hours and released officials on humanitarian grounds. Casualty claims conflict with Pakistan, reporting heavy rebel losses and fewer security fatalities. My colleague Aditya Vadhavan joins us for more on this. Aditya, walk us through these visuals that are coming in as BLA carried out attacks across Balochistan.
Well, definitely, Medha, if you see, these attacks that have been carried out by BLA are very, very massive in nature, considering the, serious damage that they have incurred to the Pakistani army personnel. And definitely, such attacks will definitely increase in the coming days. Definitely, these attacks will be more intense. If we talk about these attacks by the BLA on the Pakistani army, several reports have indicated that in a close coordination, close intelligence coordination between the TTP and BLA, these successful attacks are happening on the Pakistani army convoys, which is pushing the Pakistani army on a great back foot at this juncture. So definitely, in the times to come, also, purportedly a video was posted by the Balochistan Liberation Army where where the BLA fighters were seen, where they were seen controlling Makran, a southern coastal town in Balochistan. They were checking the vehicles. So complete, in a very large area, these BLA fighters have their presence, and they're constantly also opposing these CPEC Chinese investments in Pakistan. So clearly at this juncture, there are concerns, and the Pakistani army and the Pakistani political establishment is on the back foot at this juncture. Medha.
All right, Aditya, do stay on with me. Mr. Arvind Singh Tejawat, if sir, you're still with us here on the broadcast, I would like to quickly bring you back into this conversation, sir. Now, after these attacks, of course, Pakistan has, as usual, pointed fingers towards India and said that it is India that is somewhat behind whatever is taking place within Balochistan. Would you agree that in a way it uses this boogie of India did it to deflect from its own internal failures, the fact that it is the one that is plundering the province? There's massive unemployment there, enforced disappearances, exploitation of its resources. People cannot reap the benefits of the resources. It does not trickle down to them. Your opinion, sir?
Right, Mida. Remember that even last year, the Modi Sahab, even on a public platform of at the time of celebration of Independence Day, the Modi Sahab said that the Balochistan is really looking towards the India, and here I think that the India should go for the policy change, and India must support the Pakistan is here in India. We assure the right of the Kashmiri people, the right of the northeastern people, and the right of the people which are coming from the hilly areas. So they are having a constitutional, the constitutional security of and the assurance of their rights. But vice versa, the Pakistan is not doing the same. As the Sudhakar Saab already stated that if we decide the ratio, then the Baloch people has a very less representation in a Pakistani population. And the Pakistani government is not ready to spend their money, and they are not willing to make any development plan for those people. So definitely there will be the resistance from the Baloch people. Contrary, Euro-American people are also supporting the Pakistani government, and they declared the BLA as a terrorist organization, which is not fair enough. And the Euro-American people are doing it because of their vested interest. Medha, to you.
Sir, I would please request you to stay on with me. Major General, if I could just come to you. Sir, we're also seeing videos circulating online that shows pants being left by these Pakistani army soldiers after they ran away from a military camp. Fearful after the Baloch rebel attacks. Sir, how scared do you have to be to flee so fast that you actually forget your pants? I mean, I don't think one must actually mess with the Pakistani army, considering that they either surrender or worst case scenario flee.
Medad, it's a very relevant point you have touched. In fact, it's a very hilarious, comical kind of a description of soldiers leaving behind their pants and other wherewithal in a combat situation. It happens only when the troops are getting surprised and shocked and surprised. And that shock and surprise is the primary domain of the conduct of operations by the Majid Brigade and the BLA. They have successfully been able to conduct these kind of operations. But what is actually paralyzing the Pakistan army is that first and foremost thing is the lack of motivation. The morale and motivation of Pakistan army is in boots, number one. For multiple purposes. One thing is that the very rise of the chief of the army staff to the status which he is enjoying today itself is bringing a lot of multiple questions in the minds of all ranks in Pakistan. Within Pakistan, there are different groups, multiple groups. Earlier, there used to be only two groups. Now, I believe, I am given to understand, there are more than, amongst the officers, there are formed three groups, and amongst the Jawans, there are multiple groups depending on the caste and religion, something on the lines of India. But the fact remains that the morale and motivation being low, many of them who go on leave, they do not come back. There are large number of cases of desertion that without informing or without official sanction, they go abandon the post. And there are large number of cases where the troops are actually raising their hand to go to the front line for facing the combat. So that is because the logistic backup which is to be there. In fact, we'll be getting alarm to hear that the troops are not getting their salary Leave alone the veterans, they don't get their pension. The troops serving soldiers are not getting their salary. Their families are not being looked after. They don't know whether they will come back from the combat zone safely or not. They have been surrounded by small team operations of Baloch Liberation Army. It's a kind of a insurgency which has got a cutting edge domination. Like there used to be an old saying of 1969, Henry Kissinger, when he said that the conventional army wins when it doesn't lose, and the terrorist or the non-conventional, the non-state actor loses when it doesn't win. And what's to that effect? So if you apply it on the ground, the Baloch Liberation Army, they know the ground, they are indigenous population, and they have the escape routes, they know the vital grounds where they can hit the enemy, that is the Pakistan military forces, plus they're being supported by Tehrik Taliban Pakistan. And they're hand in gloves for training purposes, exchange of arms, weapons, explosives. So they have started operating. In fact, don't be surprised to see some
Yes, sir.
Tehrik Taliban Pakistan, they are also operating in Balochistan along the Duran line. So this has to be understood in the earnest, and there are easy escape routes across towards Iran as also towards Afghanistan. So under these
All right,
circumstances,
sir.